Have you ever been nervous for a job interview or anxious for a job interview? I don't know about you, but the days prior to an interview for me used to be pretty hectic and stressful. I would stay up later at night wondering what type of questions they're going to ask me, whether I'm going to be ready to answer those questions, if they're going to be the standard, what's the best fit for this company as far as your qualifications. Why are you, you? What makes you a good person? What makes you different from the other applicants? Really stand out. So this is fairly typical for me until I figured out the best tips, the best things that I could do to prepare for the interview and be successful. So what I found and what researchers have found is that preparing prior to the interview, staying active in the interview, and following up with the interviewer are really some of the best ways to have the most successful interviews. So the information I'm going to discuss today is from Kay Peterson's 3 Steps to a Successful Job Interview, Sophie Deering's 5 Essential Tips to Interview Success, and Marco International's How to Survive an Interview. First I want to talk about preparing for the interview, prior to the interview, might add. So to a lot of people that just means make sure you dress nice and make sure you know where you're going. And those are both definitely important, but there's some other things that you can do to really build the confidence, make sure that you're ready for that interview. Kay Peterson states to talk to family, friends, current employees, former employees that you know, really to figure out what the business is about. It'll let you know how to approach in the interview, and also let you know if you're a good fit for the company, because that's important to you as someone that's applying for a job as well. Not necessarily just if they want you, but if you want the job. So Deering also notes that she also says that you want to research them really any way that you can, online, books, magazines, any way that you can find out the company's core values to help exemplify them in the interview, because those are the people they're looking for. And it also doesn't hurt to, while researching them, find out what's going on with the company right now. Current projects they have going, what they feel like doing in the future, the path of the business. Gives you some things to talk about with the interviewer and really shows that you're serious about the job. Marco International, one of the things they really stress is knowing where you're going, which is what most people figure, but also just doing a test run, when you're going to be going to the place. That way you know what the traffic's like, you can gauge it. MapQuest doesn't always fix that for you, or GPS. You want to make sure you know where you're going at the time you need to be there. Also, Marco International states don't show up late, don't show up on time, show up early, right? Because companies can only look at you better if you show up early. They'll never look at you negatively. Kay Peterson also notes to bring extra copies of your resume and also a notepad and a pen. Let them know you're serious, let you take notes about some of the things that you'll be asking the company, some of the answers they'll give you. Just another sign of seriousness. So now that we reviewed some ways to stay prepared prior to the interview, let's take a look at some ways that you can stay active and involved during the interview. So body language first. Sophie Deering and Marco International were very big on the body language. I have to agree. Make sure you know what you're doing with your body. Make sure you know what the interviewer is doing with their body. If they're sending you negative signs, you might need to wrap up what you're currently explaining. You might be over answering a question or telling a story a little bit too in depth, so make sure you note that. Marco always stresses to make sure you keep eye contact. During answering questions, listening to questions, just showing that you're participating in the interview, that you're there, that you want to be there, that you're serious. Again, it's all about seriousness. Showing that you're ready for the position, that you've researched it, that you understand it, that you're the best fit, right? So, let's see. Also, actively listen and ask questions. So, when they ask you questions, make sure that you answer them confidently and be able to give concrete examples. That's something that Deering and Peterson both note. Be able to give those concrete examples. If you say you're a team player, be able to tell them a way that you're a team player. Have some scenario from an old work experience that really shows them that you're the best in that field. That you really can shine, if you will, for whatever you're explaining, of course. Also, that part of the interview where they ask, "Do you have any questions for me?" Peterson stresses, "Be ready for that, and research the company like you were supposed to when you're preparing, and make a list so that you can ask them these questions. It'll really show them that you are serious about having that job and that you've thought about your career path with the company, that you're ready to fulfill their position." So now that we've discussed some ways you can stay active in the interview, let's look at some ways that you can follow up with the interviewer, like attending their information and appropriate correspondence. So a lot of people forget to obtain information. Deering and Peterson both note that this is highly important. You're going to want to follow up with the interviewer. So they both agree that you can thank the interviewer for their time, the opportunity, let them know you're seriously interested in the position still, and that really will set you apart from everybody that doesn't as a serious candidate. A lot of companies hire people that follow up in comparison to people that don't, that have the exact same qualifications, because it shows seriousness about the position. Peterson explains a little more in detail that you can review the ways that you can really help the company by fulfilling the open position, just again to state how much you really are the perfect fit for them. So in conclusion, I hope I've informed you on some ways that you can make sure you have the most successful interviews. If you're someone like me that struggles with anxious and nervousness, make sure to practice staying prepared, actively listening and participating in the interview, and following up with the interviewer. And those will really help you to land that dream job that you want, or even that job that you're just currently applying for. Thank you.